Hello, magical being. Today is actually one of my absolute favorites topics to discuss, and that is using the beauty and the natural world around us to enhance our sensuality and sexuality. There are different foods, different herbs that are known as aphrodisiacs, meaning they will increase your libido, they can increase your lubrication, so create more juices flowing essentially. There are some that essentially puts you more in the mood. There's some that open your heart. There's a lot of them, obviously. And it's something that has been used for years and years and years, even in the ancient times when you read about it, around actual aphrodisiacs. They've been used for a while. And what I love about it is that you're taking something that can be in your kitchen, or maybe you can go out and purchase an herb or whatever food that can enhance your experience, right? Because taking that food, taking that herb truly is an initiation to your heart's desires, right? And you're taking those things and essentially creating even more pleasure within them. And there are many foods, there's many drinks, many herbs that can create it in a different way. And the key here is trying them yourself so that you can figure out which one work best with you, which one don't. Also, if you are on any medication, making sure that the herb or the food even is safe to be taken or tried within the medication that you are using. And so working really with your doctor, with a naturopath, with and a herbalist that knows what they're doing can be really helpful in moments like that, because you got to find what really suits you best, right? But you're taking the magic of the natural world and these sacred plants, and you are genuinely just really upping and enhancing your pleasure, your sensuality, your sexuality, and making your whole body within this have this like energy and this feeling of like, hell yes. And something that a lot of times we want to feel or we want to do, especially when you are going to be intimate with someone or with yourself. And so it's an ancient tradition that has been definitely used for a very, very long time. It really helps us explore and focus on the pleasures of love. And specifically here, kind of how we mentioned, the whole concept of this whole thing is self-love, right? So again, keeping in mind that things that I'm mentioning can be applicable to self-love or also love in romantic partnerships and all of that. It's all of that. So it is a topic that I encourage you to research further. However, I wanted to discuss just a few plants that maybe you have at home that can really be helpful for you. And obviously my first one, which is my favorite flower, the rose. So the rose has the highest frequency of all flowers. It's a beautiful just representation of so many different things. It can be used as a metaphor as far as, the rose has thorns, how to learn how to have boundaries, the beauty of blooming, the whole rebirth process, giving it back to the earth. But rose can be used in a lot of different ways. So you can use it in oil, like a body oil. You can use the scent of it. You can make truffles with it, which is what actually the recipe that I shared with you it uses rose powder. Now, if you don't have rose powder, essentially get some rose petals, and I don't mean the rose that like you buy in a grocery store. Please don't use that one, just because it's covered in chemicals and you don't want to eat that. But if you just take like organic, rose petals, you can actually grind them in a coffee grinder. And create powder out of them. And then you can roll your truffles in it, which is delicious. But rose can be used in that, can be used as a tea. It can be added to your bath. Like I said, it can be made to a body oil. It can be something that you are welcome to work with or also purchase things with, right? So like I have a rose lotion, did not make that, trust me, but it smells amazing and makes me feel sensual. What I do love, and this doesn't just go for a rose, really for everything, is that when you create something, when you make something, and that can be as simple as adding the herbs to your tea and then pouring water over it, you really can bring your intention to it and can speak words of love to it. If it's tea, for example, a simple thing like stirring your tea clockwise will, you think of the things that you are trying to bring into your life, the things that you're adding, the things that you're calling in as you are doing the steering. You do it counterclockwise if you're trying to remove something, any energy, any situation, anything like that. You can speak loving words into the water that you're using, the herbs. And I love that deep connection that you can have, which is why I love my rose elixir. That's the one that like I genuinely take all the time and the most consistent with, because when I make it, I speak so much love into it, that when it's not like it's just like brewing and getting ready to be used, like it genuinely is receiving the love, it's holding it, and it's can then further bring me comfort when I am ready to use it, right? So taking other herbs, for example, damiana is a beautiful one. You can make a tincture out of that. Some people add it to their tea, of course. We're talking herb wise. Jasmine is another one. You will see that with a lot of different incantations. So trying to bring something into your life, jasmine is a very popular one that you can actually use to enhance that experience. But all of those herbs really help you feel things more fuller, one of those words. And it helps you really express yourself and trust that inner world. It allows you to open your heart and connect with your heart. So the 3 herbs that I listed, I would say are probably my favorite ones to work with. I will say damiana, if you're going to be intimate with your partner, or honestly with yourself, use some damiana, even in a tincture form. It works real well. Let me tell you that. But then you also have foods, right? So these were the 3 herbs, and I'm trying to keep things somewhat simple for you. So there's a whole long list of things that you could add in here. But foods, the main one is chocolate. So hence why I gave you my truffle recipe that I love. It really connects to you. It has a nice calming effect, but also caffeine is actually known to kind of reawaken your nervous system also. So it has that kind of counteracting thing, and it works beautifully. So you can ingest it obviously in a form of actually making something with chocolate, eating it, or you can actually use like a chocolate drizzle, and that's also another recipe that you get from me. The chocolate drizzle, like you can use it for a body massage, you can use it as a breast massage oil. So literally use the chocolate drizzle to give yourself a breast massage, and it's such a beautiful way to add that extra like kick to opening your heart and to really connecting with that part of your body, and to refill your cup from which you will then give, and so using those things can be super helpful. Other foods, let's think about this. So some people, oysters, anything basically that looks like a vulva is an excellent aphrodisiac. So oysters, papaya, if you really think about it, apple. A lot of the times we grow up with this one idea of how a woman's vulva should look. And because I'm in the medical field and specifically in the pelvic floor, every one of them looks so different, and we just don't talk about it because we only have been, for the most part, exposed to what we see like in videos or in porn or whatever. And that's just so not realistic. And so that's why I say that there's some fruits that you look at and you're just like, I just don't think that this looks like a vulva, but it's like, could be someone's. So yeah, coming back to the topic, I like to have like little rants. Papaya, yeah, that one. Cherries, that's another one I actually have right here. I love cherries. And especially cherries, there's some fruits specifically are excellent when it comes to keeping your vaginal health on point, as far as the tissue goes, as far as the lubrication. Um, so using things in that concept, for example, if you're trying to enhance that part of yourself, using fruits that are specifically more lubricated, right? They're more juicy, they're more fresh, they're more pulp, they're more almost like have that little crispness to them. So an excellent one, for example, will be a grape, right? Grape is just one of the best ones, actually. But then you have to be careful if you're diabetic. But that's beside the point. So grapes are excellent. Watermelon, if you have a nice juicy apple, cherries, and especially if it's a good batch of cherries, when they're just literally dripping in that cherry juice, like hell yes. So think outside the box next time whenever you're in the grocery store, because there's a lot of things that you might not be thinking of that are actually enhancing your life's pleasure, your experience, maybe adding more physical or emotional support that you just don't think about. But really apply those things in also the quality of foods that you are consuming, or the herbs, right? So even kind of how we talked about, like with the cherries, that you want them to be juicy, you want them to be just full. Same thing with like grapes. You want to, like, when you bite into it, you want it to have that little, you know, and so thinking about all of those things as you are purchasing them, or as you're having them, and as you are ingesting them, really speaking that intention, right? And making that connection between that and, for example, your yoni, your heart, or anything like that. So one of the exercises I really want you to do today, slash, this week, but realistically today, but also realistically this week, is either make the truffles, or if you have the truffle, I'm going to do it together here, is connecting to your senses. And really, as an aphrodisiac, for this case, chocolate, it makes you more sensitive in a way, or more aware. So I want you to tune into your senses when you're consuming it. So for example, as I have my little truffle, I am looking at it, right? I'm looking at all of the angles behind it. Is it looking chocolatey? I sure hope so. Is there some chocolate powder that's falling into my hands? Yes. Now just smell it. Just take a second and just smell it. And again, I know we're doing this with chocolate, but really you can do this like with a cup of rose tea. You can do it with anything. But I want you to genuinely, really, really focus on this. So go ahead and smell. And the reason why I'm really, for example, you just saw me close my eyes. When you're connecting with your senses, it's good to take the other ones away, right? So when you're looking at it, truly looking at it, I still want you to breathe, but maybe not like smell it and look at it at the same time. And then when you're trying to smell it, closing your eyes, taking that sight away so that you can really tune into your olfactory system. So really taking in that smell and focusing as to, like, what is that making you feel? Like when I just smell this, I salivated. Okay, I'm ready for this. And we do so many things during our day that we don't bring a lot of attention to, or a lot of focus to. And this is not to call out anyone, but like normally, if you want a piece of chocolate, you just go for it, you grab it, and you go about your day. But taking time to actually tune into that food and what it has to offer for you can be almost created as like a ceremonial experience, So now, favorite part is going to be actually taking a bite. So whatever it is that you're drinking, that you're doing, or that you're eating, I want you to just take a bite. And as you do that, I want you to close your eyes. And before you start to chew, kind of swish it around your mouth and just see how it tastes. Are you salivating even more? Is there a specific texture that this has? Is there any memory that's coming into your mind that might be connected to this type of food? And just tuning in. And then as you're ready, if it's something that you want to chew or swallow, start to do that. Same thing. Obviously, do as often as you wish. But taking that 1 second here to just simply sit here with me and just enjoy it. And just allowing this experience to open your heart and to open your mind maybe to something that you haven't thought about, or you have thought about but you haven't done in a while, which is connecting to that food. Honestly, I love doing this because it brings me so into the present moment, and it allows me to let go of everything that has happened before. And today, I will say, today has been a stressful day, patient wise. And taking that moment to myself is how I show myself love, is taking my mind out of everything that has happened and just really tuning into that present moment, into giving myself pleasure in any way. And that can mean exploring your body, that can mean cooking yourself an amazing meal, or that can be sitting here recording a video and enjoying a fucking delicious piece of chocolate. And it somehow tastes even better when you made it, even though it takes a little while. It really does taste good when you are the one who's making it. But this is a simple way to give yourself love, to reawaken that self-love. Because you know what foods you like, which ones you don't. You know what quality of foods you have a tendency to go to. Do you feel like that quality is matching your desires or the health that you're striving for or anything like that? And is what you eat or what you consume, even what you drink, is it reflecting how you feel about yourself? And as you choose those things that you're genuinely, literally putting inside of your body, will they create a loving effect or not? Whenever I had an issue with binge eating, one of the best ways for me to be getting out of an eating disorder mindset was, is doing this, is this loving or is this not? You know, I didn't want to be like, is this hateful? But like, is this a loving action? If I stop right now, is that a loving action for myself? If I continue, is that a loving action for myself? And we all have different answers, but you get the gist, because it's not about like going on a diet or not eating this, not eating that, but just being more mindful, more conscious, more intentional, right? And again, you sign up for this because you want to have more self-love. So there is something in your life that could be tweaked just a little bit to enhance your experience of self-love, of life, and all of the goodness, essentially. And again, if you have any questions, I know that this was kind of like a quick, short, and only a few examples. And how I mentioned, there's a lot more. I just want to give you like a little bit of an introduction to the concept. Well, there's so many different options. These are just my favorite. I'm just going to be honest. I just mentioned the ones that like I genuinely use all the time. Because why not? This is all about me. But yeah, I love those foods. And I think taking a second out of your day to reconnect, to tune into your senses, it creates more sensitivity, more pleasure, more awareness. And, you know, I'm doing this right now, but like you can do this in the evening before things happen. You can do this in the morning to start your day right, you know. If there are any things that you are, if you're wondering, like, what should I start with? My recommendations would be two things. A, chocolate, if you're not allergic. And I mean, like, good chocolate, not like white chocolate, no hate, but like, come on. So I would say working with chocolate would be the first one. And second is making or getting yourself a rose elixir. It's the one that I have. That's the one I use in my programs that I it's amazing. There's honestly, I could go on and on and on, but let me just tell you, it's amazing. the comfort, the nurture, the heart opening effect, the cleansing, the sensuality. It gets it all. It gets it all. It truly is. Excuse me. It truly is my absolute favorite, and for a good reason. So if it's something that you would like to make on your own, let me know. If you have questions as to how to make it, if you want to purchase some, let me know. It's also available as well. There's only a few times during the year that I actually release it, because I genuinely make this for myself, and then if there's any leftover is what I share with the world, because I use it that often. But tune into your own experience of sensuality, of connecting with the herbs, with the foods, and seeing what exactly works best for you. Kind of how I said, for me, rose is just like an everyday thing. Damiana is for some special, special times. Chocolate is, let me give myself pleasure during the day, and in not sexual sense, in more of like a sensual sense. So you figuring out your own that work best for you, and also the effect that they will have on you, is what is crucial. So much love for you. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're watching this. I hope you got something out of it. If you have a favorite herb or a favorite food that you love working with, comment, reply, let me know. I want to know, because maybe some of them I'm not familiar with. And I want to know more. So I love you. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope you get to be sensual today. I hope you get to enhance pleasure in your day today. And again, with the activity completed tonight, ideally, realistically this week, but complete it. Remember, you have to take what you're learning and actually apply it for it to make a difference. Just watching me blob, even though I'm wonderful to listen to, obviously, but just listening and taking in the information is about 10% of it is going to actually stick in your brain, because it's a very passive way of learning. And B, yeah, it's just going to stay in your brain. Like the 10% that you will take away from this is just going to stay in your brain. Right. And we want it to be more of a somatic experience, to where not just your brain is infused with all this information, but your body is actually reawakened by doing the activities and by just enhancing it and like giving it a boost. Boost is the word I was looking for. I was like, it's not enhancing, but that's the best one I could think of. So much love for you. I hope you have an amazing day. Let me know how you are adding more pleasure to your life today.